Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for the match preview of Newcastle United against West Ham United, which, of course, is 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night at St James's Park. You may notice we are a few down tonight. Billy is poorly. Alex has got awful floods, and Sam is unavailable. She's prepping for later on in the week. So I am flying solo tonight, guys. So welcome, everybody. As usual, if you do enjoy the show, please do give it the thumbs up and, of course, subscribe if you're new. And you can support the channel in the usual two ways. First of all, via membership, which is the join button just underneath myself. And, of course, Super Chat, which is the $ underneath the live chat. And that will also guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. We've got a Super Chat in from Graham Taylor already. Evening all. Apparently, I've reached a milestone. Apparently you have, Graham. It hasn't come up on my screen, but I guess so. Hopefully it'll come up at some point tonight. Yeah, it is a bit old school tonight. There's no doubt about it. But what I thought was, it's a preview of the game. We'll get some obviously comments from yourselves. We'll chat about, if you have any feelings ahead of the game, put them in the chat. We'll talk about them as well. Yeah, it'll just be an all-round discussion tonight of the game and how much we're looking forward to it, and hopefully another 3 points because, well, Man United only picked one up again today, so, they're falling behind. Manchester City, of course, 5 defeats on the trot now as well. It's unbelievable. C-Bubble, thank you for your super chat. You've got this. Thank you very much, mate. Steve Hedder says, evening, Paul. One-man band tonight. They're not slackers, mate. Honestly, Alex has got some serious problems with flooding where he lives, and Billy is poorly. Billy's been poorly for a while, but he was fighting back yesterday, and he's going to fight back tomorrow night. He'll be with me for Match Day Live tomorrow as well. Now let's talk about the football, shall we? Because at the moment, the results today: Southampton 2, Liverpool 3. Of course, again VAR a little bit dodgy in my opinion, and Ipswich getting a 1-1 draw against Manchester United. So the way the Premier League is looking at the minute, we are currently in 9th on 18 points. And we will hopefully with a win tomorrow go above Tottenham and possibly Brighton, depending on how many goals we score. So, although Brighton are 4 points ahead, so we could go 6th tomorrow with a win over West Ham. Now we've got to be confident going into tomorrow, guys, because the way we've played leading up to the international break, the big question is Callum Wilson going to be on the bench? Because I mean, we've said so many times. I said it at the press conference reaction when I saw Eddie's face when he was asked about Callum Wilson. He looked kind of embarrassed, didn't he? He really did. He looked very embarrassed about the situation, as if he didn't want to answer, because he's fed up with answering ridiculous questions now regarding Callum Wilson. For me, look, Callum is a very, very talented player. And we've said that many times, and he's done some great things for Newcastle United. But for me, this is getting a little bit cheesy now. It's getting a bit boring. And I'm pretty sure it is for Eddie as well. Eddie's the kind of guy who wants to talk about football, and he's not given the opportunity when he's got Callum Wilson to answer the first question that he gets. I don't think there's going to be many changes in the team tomorrow, to be quite frank with you. I think that we'll go with the same back four. I think Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall will be the fullbacks. Of course, Dan Burns missing, isn't he, through suspension? So Lloyd Kelly will step into that position. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing Lloyd Kelly again, playing in 90 minutes. Eddie was saying in his press conferences that it's very important that when players get an opportunity to get into the first team, that they play well enough in order to stay there. So this is a test now for if Eddie means it as well, because if Lloyd Kelly comes in tomorrow, has a blinding game, then he should not be dropped. It's as simple as that. He should not be dropped. He should be in the team next week. And that's what Eddie was talking about taking your chance if you get into the first team. And Lloyd Kelly's got to take that chance. And I think he will. I think West Ham, haven't been good this season. And if you believe what the reports are saying in the press about the manager, he's got 2 games to save his job. We could put a real dent in that tomorrow. There's been a lot of score predictions saying, oh, we'll win 3-4, 5-0 tomorrow if we turn up. I think we can. Don't get me wrong. I think we can score loads of goals against West Ham because they have looked really, really defenseless this season. But they do still have some good players. They've still got some very, very good players who we need to make sure that we pick up. You know, Paqueta's in the team. He can change a game for West Ham. Although I think he's got a lot more on his head now with what's going on around him that is dropping his levels off him. But we all said in the summer when West Ham made all these brilliant signings that they were going to be a real force to be reckoned with this season. And it hasn't turned out that way. And you generally... you have to look at the manager, don't you? You've got to. You can't look anywhere, but actually look at the manager and say, right, what is he doing wrong with these players? Because he's got a fantastic bunch of players at West Ham, and they are just not performing. My only scare for tomorrow was Antonio bullying Cher, with Cher going to ground too easy. Look, it's happened before. Antonio's been a real thorn in our side. And I remember a few years back when Declan Rice was still at West Ham, and they came and smashed 4 goals past us. And Declan Rice kind of ran the show, but they couldn't handle Antonio up front. And Antonio, for me, is a very weird type of player because when he's on his game, he's very difficult to play against. And Fabian Cher will know that, and so will anybody else that goes up against Mikel Antonio. However, they are not playing very well. And, you know, Antonio is one of these players that, you know, can disappear from games constantly. So I'm not really worried about Antonio tomorrow. Julie J says Kudos is suspended. Paqueta and Bowen are the danger men. Well, I mean, could it be an audition for Bowen if you believe what the journalists have been saying in recent weeks and months? You know, Bowen's been linked with Newcastle so many times. Is he actually put himself forward for a place in the squad, and Newcastle will look at him in the January window? Many people have said, no, he'll never move to the Northeast because of family and things like that. Football is very strange. You just never know. You never know what goes on. And stranger things have happened. I'd prefer going for Mbeumo if you ask me anything. But Paqueta is one of these players, but he hasn't done well against Bruno. If you look back to the games where Paqueta and Bruno have clashed together in the midfield, Bruno normally comes out of it the winner. Paqueta, I don't think he's the same type of player as Bruno, though. Bruno's very much, he gets stuck in, he likes to tackle. And don't get me wrong, the battles we've seen between Bruno and Paqueta in the past, they have been physical. But for me, Bruno's kind of come out the winner with them. Spike says, I think you're right with the team. Kelly at left centre-back. Sibley looking good for Southampton. Yes, there's been many people commenting on Sibley, Julie, this afternoon on social media, saying how much would he cost for us to go and get him. Playing like that, his price tag will go up quite a lot. Paqueta has been poor, has things on his mind. Absolutely, Paul. Totally agree with you. He's got a lot going on in the brain with regards to the betting and stuff like that. So I don't think he's fully focused on football, which, again, is a bonus for us. But they have to play him. They have to play Paqueta because he's one of their best players. You know, so they can't look at this and say, oh, you know, it's very dangerous playing him because his head's not in the game. But they've got to play their best players. With the situation that they're in now, you know, St. James's Park under the lights tomorrow night is a very... Not many teams, put it that way, like playing under the lights against us at St. James's Park because the atmosphere ramps up a little bit. It's winter, it's freezing cold. It's those special nights at St. James's Park. And West Ham will not be excited at all. Julie says, last game, Paqueta stopped Bruno from getting sent off. Might again forget which side he's supposed to be playing for. Yeah, we can remember that. Some people are saying it's an audition for Bowen. Clone Lad says, Joe Linton, Longstaff and Hall all on 4 yellow cards, 1 booking away from 1 match bans. Indeed, they are. However, what I will say is I don't think that Eddie should go and tell Joe Linton just to, you know, ease off the gas a little bit and not be his normal self. Look, he's going to get suspended eventually. It's just the game that Joe Linton plays. It really is. And if we took that out of Joe Linton's game, then I think we'd struggle tomorrow. If Eddie says, lay off the gas a little bit, just try and not be full on. That's not how Joe Linton plays the game. And I think if Eddie gave those sort of instructions to Joe Linton, then I think West Ham would love that. They'd love a half-assed Joe Linton. You can't take that out of his game. So, the whole point of having a squad at Newcastle United is to cope with these things. Like Lloyd Kelly can step in for Dan Burn tomorrow. We've got other midfielders who can step in for Joe Linton should and when he's ever suspended. So I'm not really too worried about that, if I'm honest. But Lewis Hall, yeah, again, but you know what? Some of the bookings for Lewis Hall have been shockingly bad. But that, not his fault. But again, you have to deal with suspensions throughout the season. If I was manager, I wouldn't go into that dressing room tomorrow and say to the guys on 4 yellow cards, be careful. Obviously you've got to time your tackles right, but we know that during a game, there is tackles go amiss, there's fouls committed, and sometimes it depends which referees you get, but sometimes they're card happy and they'll just flash a yellow card over nothing. We've seen it, over this weekend. We've seen it in Newcastle games prior. Craig Pawson is the referee. So you're guaranteed that there will be yellow cards dished out for very stupid reasons tomorrow. So expect maybe one of those players to, get another yellow card and get a suspension. The main thing for me is midfield. Is he going to go with Longstaff again, or does he put Toon Army back in? Because I think this game is crying out for Toon Army. This is nothing against Sean, because I think Sean's done very well when he's come in. But again, you look at that midfield and you think we need as much creativity in there as possible, because West Ham, if they concede early goal, they are going to drop their heads. They're going to think, oh, here we go again. It's just not working for us. So let me know, who would you play? I think a lot of people would probably say Toon Army. Wacky says, with Pawson in charge, those cards are coming tomorrow. Absolutely. Mike says, yes, it can be a tough game, but hopefully we can get 3 points tomorrow night against the Hammers at the Cathedral on the Hill. Hope Joe picks his moment, though, as I'd hate to lose him for the Liverpool game. Well, you know what? Yes, I agree, Steve, but at the same time, he's got to kind of put that at the back of his mind, and so has Eddie Howe. We can't tell Joe to play a different game, because Joe is Joe. We know how Joe Linton likes to play. He's very physical. He gets stuck in. He likes to rough the opponents up and put them off the game. That is generally what he does. But on the footballing side, he's linking up brilliantly with Joe Willock right now. So there's that side of it as well. If he just sticks to his football, and hopefully we won't need him to be that physical self, because we'll be too busy, driving at the West Ham defence and scoring goals all night, which would be a lot better to see than sort of having to have scraps in the midfield. Although Sky pundits failed, No Nut November talking about Man United today. Well, there's a surprise. We have a new member, Flummoxed. Welcome to the Toon Review membership club, and thank you for your ongoing support. That's very kind. Niall says the only midfielder that we don't have like for like is Willock. Yeah. Willock's a different player to replace, and I think Willock has probably proved just how much we've missed him when he has been out injured. A lot of people were saying in the summer, should we look to sell Willock? Is it worth keeping him? And I was asking that question as well. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking now, when we're seeing him get back to full fitness, just how good this kid is, and how much we need him. And I think Eddie's got a real surprise and a real bonus as how we're playing now on the left-hand side. He doesn't have to rely on Harvey Barnes. He can sort of move Gordon around, and Gordon is capable of playing anywhere. Harvey Barnes is the one that's probably going to be frustrated because of how the left-hand side has turned out with Joe Linton and Willock again. But we see this regularly. A couple of years ago when we made the drive to Wembley, of course, in the Carabao, we were playing so well down that left-hand side with Willock and Joe Linton. So it's given Eddie a headache, but also a blessing that we can still sort of have that left-hand side to dominate games. And then suddenly on the right-hand side, you have Anthony Gordon, who, by the way, is capable for putting so many crosses in. But it depends how Eddie looks at this game tomorrow against West Ham. I would expect us to come out free-flowing football, go at them from the off. West Ham will probably play a game of counter-attack. So it's probably going to be up to us again to break them down, which we can do. We know we can do. We've got the players to do it. Isak's on the form of his life for Sweden at the minute. I mean, that piece of skill we saw earlier in the week was it was filthy. Fabianski will be in goal, remembering how he was done over by Isak with that goal. How can we forget? I mean, that picture of them two standing there just watching the ball floating into the back of the net is one of those moments in football, wasn't it? When you sort of just freeze frame it, you think, wow, that was something very special. Peter says, would rather Joe Linton get booked tomorrow to miss the Palace game, not Liverpool. Well, here's the question, right? Do you think Eddie Howe would say, look, would he ever go to Joe Linton and say, if you're going to get booked, and today's the day, just miss the Palace game because we need you against Liverpool? Would a manager ever say that? I don't know. I really don't. Charlie's in the house. Hi, Paul. We're all here. Logan is just going to bed. Please, may you give him a big wave. Logan, have a good sleep, mate, and enjoy school if you can, possibly. But get yourself... Mind you, I think you should be able to stay up till 8 o'clock to finish watching the show. Like, I think that's a bit... I think you should just nudge your mum and say, Mum, can I stay up till 8 o'clock to finish watching the show? I'm probably causing a family riot. They also like a high line, so it's quick balls over the top. Well, this is where I think we can use Gordon and certainly, Joe Willock tomorrow with the balls over the top. Isak, I guess we've seen in recent times that he doesn't really go down the channels. So balls over the top for me would be for the likes of Gordon and Willock to run onto, or Joe Linton for that matter. But I think, Willock certainly is very, very good at running the channels. Absolutely brilliant. So is Gordon. And I do think that is a possibility for us tomorrow with West Ham playing a high line. Let's get the ball over the top. Let's get at them straight away. I do believe that if we score early, West Ham will crumble. Remember when we were going through bad phases, guys? We've seen it with every single club, really. If you're going through a bad time and you're near the bottom of the league and things just are not going for you, no matter what you do, you concede a goal early and the heads just plummet. How many times did we see that over, when Steve Bruce was in charge? We used to go a goal down and that was it. The game was over. You just knew as a fan that we weren't getting back into that game. And I know times are different now, and I hate talking about the Steve Bruce era, but you know what I mean. That's what happens when you're down there and things just do not go your way. There's the ages of the players. Bone 27 and Buemo 25, Semenyo 24. Billy's a big fan of Semenyo. Probably would love him. I am as well. He played brilliantly against us, and he's had a very good season. I just think Mbeumo is the type of player that Eddie Howe would love to have in the squad. He works his arse off. He can play centre forward if needed, but he's a fantastic guy on the wing. He's had a brilliant, brilliant start of the season. And if rumours are to be believed, he is the main player that we're looking at to improve the right-hand side. But that's gonna change a lot over the next few weeks before the window. You can guarantee that. I mean, I'm just sort of going to try and take a bet on maybe how many right wingers we get linked with in December before the window opens in January, because it's going to be a few. Tangy says Paulson's one of those refs who relies on VAR because he struggles to make a decision on his own. Oh, how true is that? Dear me. If Tonali plays, he'll be the one who will go up against Paqueta. Well, I mean, you say that, Jules, but at the same time, you look at how Bruno thrives on those battles. And I think, watching them, I know they're good best mates and all of that, but if you look at them on the pitch, their competition is fierce. And I think Bruno loves going up against Paqueta. And maybe if Bruno does go up against Paqueta, then it frees Tonali up as well. So you've got to think of it that way. Kieran says, I'd rather play Tonali as he's more creative and we're probably going to have more of the ball. Charlie, stop saying he's going to bed. Let him stay up. But if not, good night, Logan. Sleep tight, matey. Obviously, he's got to go to bed for school. But hey-ho. He may bring Tonali in for Bruno tomorrow, says Atticus. Is this your kind of Bruno hatred? I know you've praised him recently, but I can't see Bruno being... He's captain, mate. He's not going to drop Bruno. No way in hell is he dropping Bruno. I can almost stake my house on it that he will not drop Bruno unless Bruno is injured. I'd be keeping Willock. Plus, he's still fairly young. Yeah, no doubt about that. Bruno managed to not get booked for all of those games. Indeed, but I just think Joe Linton's a little bit more fiery than Bruno, and that's saying something because Bruno is a fiery character when he's on the pitch. But I really do think Joe Linton steps it up that next level. And he becomes a very, very hot-headed player at times. But I think over time he's learned to sort of control that to a degree. I think there's still a little bit to go with Joe Linton and trying to control the anger, but and the frustration at times, because he does get frustrated if the referees don't protect him. And I think Joe Linton's felt that a little bit in recent times, where he's been targeted by various teams and he hasn't got the protection from the referee that maybe he should have. Troll says, I would rather have Big Joe out for Liverpool because I can't see us winning that game. But then again, we might surprise. You never know. You never know. Liverpool, for me, very lucky to get 3 points today. If you haven't seen the incidents, watch it on Match of the Day tonight. VAR again. I mean, look, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media today after that game with a lot of people saying, that's it. You know, I think today VAR proved who the Premier League want to win the league. If it's not going to be Manchester City, then it's going to be Liverpool and nobody else. And some of the decisions that you see recently, you just can't see any different. You can't. Trevor says he went to Bruno and asked him not to get booked for 8 games. I think he would ask Bruno to get booked myself, but with Pawson, it's not going to be hard. Hammers fans not happy since Moyes left. They were happy when Moyes was there. They weren't happy, sorry. Well, listen, this is what a lot of people were talking about with Eddie Howe's situation. You know, at the start of the season, when things weren't going really well for us, we weren't playing that well, people were saying, you know, be careful what you wish for, because if Eddie Howe goes and you bring somebody else in, it might not click. And this manager's come into West Ham. He's brought some fantastic players in the summer, and we all in our predictions had them very much in the top 10 of the Premier League and thought they would actually, you know, pressure maybe the top 6. It ain't worked like that. It's had completely the opposite. And whatever this manager's doing for West Ham in training, or, you know, his tactics, the way he sets the team up, it ain't working. And they've had some disastrous performances this season. So I think, you know, I can quite agree with the journalists when they say he's probably got 2 games to save his career. But at the same time, you know, we've got to go out there and do a job. We haven't got to worry about West Ham. But the West Ham fans themselves, I think, are looking back now and thinking, well, Moyes had us playing a decent game where we could actually give teams a game and a competition. You know, now we're going out with a powder puff in these games and we're losing. We're getting hammered. You know, they've had some dreadful results. And you have to look at the manager, because the players he's brought in are not the players you'd expect, certainly with that squad, to be where they are in the Premier League. So it is very much be careful what you wish for. And I think it's a lesson, I guess, to all fans, not just Newcastle, who were looking at saying, oh, Eddie Howe out. You know, we did have that stint of a lot of people wanting him out. However, I did not. Let me just say that. Hi all. The Lasses went up against quality team tonight. Chin up, Lasses. They're effing unreal. Yeah, they lost 6-1 today, I think, to Liverpool, didn't they, in the cup? Look, I think it's. I mean, Sam and Aaron will go on about more of this on the War Lasses show on Tuesday. But when you go up against a team like Liverpool, who are a Super League team, you then get to see the difference and probably how far you still have to go before your team is at that level ready to go. And I think this is a huge wake-up call, but I think it's a good wake-up call as well, because Becky and the staff will know now. They'll see their team and they'll see, you know, Liverpool WSL team. That is the standard we have to hit in the future. So I think there's a long, long way to go. And I think that today's game has just proved that maybe the Lasses are nowhere near that kind of standard yet. And, you know, it's a building process, isn't it? So for the Lasses, and everybody's saying, oh, you know, another promotion, let's do this, let's do that. It's maybe just better that you build slowly, and a couple of seasons in the Championship may not be that bad, because if they get another promotion, look, for me, half that squad has to change to be good enough to compete in the WSL. And that's not going to happen in one season. But I'm sure Sam and Lara will touch on that on Tuesday night. West Ham wanted Moyes gone because they thought they were better than they are, and were ungrateful. Exactly what I want Newcastle fans not to be. It is a good point, and that's what I'm saying about just be careful what you wish for. You know, a lot of people saying that Eddie Howe couldn't take us to the next level, etc. That hasn't really, I do still think Eddie Howe could take us to the next level. Absolutely can. And I think, this is a big, big transfer window for Newcastle United, Paul Mitchell. But it's very much about now getting through to Christmas. We know how busy the Premier League is. We know how many games come around very, very quickly. But we love it as fans because we now get rid of the international breaks until March. Now we've got Premier League football all the way through, FA Cup football, Carabao Cup football. We, as Newcastle fans, have a lot to look forward to in this next couple of months because I believe we're going to have a big December. Looking forward to playing plenty of games. Carabao Cup quarter-final, of course. And then, you're into the transfer window, which I think, despite what Eddie says, I think we're going to be busy in. And then, of course, you start the FA Cup as well. And hopefully we make the Carabao Cup final again, which would be nice. Nix's One West Ham fan site is saying we will win 5-0. They have zero confidence and expect their manager to be sacked very soon. I've seen quite a few predictions from West Ham fans, and they just are not looking forward to the game. And in fact, I'd be very surprised if they sell out their allocation for tomorrow night. It's a long way to come on a Monday night, but we know that non-cartel clubs get shafted when it comes to Monday night football and things like that. It's a joke. Absolute joke. Trull says, I know what you mean, Shane. I hate Liverpool and Man United and Arsenal. Geordie Dan says, I think Gahey deal is well dead. He's not playing well, is he, for Palace? He's just not playing well. Now, many people can say his head's turned, and when he goes away with England, he's maybe thinking more positively because he doesn't have to worry about the Palace situation. If you want my opinion, I think he was gutted he didn't get to join Newcastle United in the summer. I think it's really affected his game for Palace. It's shown numerous times he's made mistakes that maybe he didn't make last season. And I think his head was turned. I think he was disappointed that Palace played the game they did with Newcastle and the move didn't happen. But we'll never know until, if he ever becomes a Newcastle United player, people can ask him that. And then obviously he'll decide to tell us. But I really do think he was gutted that it didn't happen for him. And he's not a Newcastle United player this season. James is very confident about tomorrow. We'll be disappointed if we don't win. I think everybody will be, James. I think everybody will be very, very disappointed. It's a game that I'm looking at and thinking it's a real opportunity for us to go out again and play some great football. Some of the football we've played in recent games has been brilliant to watch. We did the commentary on the Arsenal yesterday afternoon, and Arsenal were brilliant yesterday to watch. Some of their passing and movement, and I'm looking at them thinking, God, I'd love Newcastle United to play like that. And then I look at some of the highlights for Newcastle and think, we can play like that. We can play a good pass and move game if our heads are screwed on and we play the right way. We've played some great football in recent games that we've won. Yogi, who's been a member for 15 months on the channel, thank you, Yogi. Man City to test Toon for Bruno in January. How many times have we heard this story? Bruno said, the horse's mouth said he is going nowhere. King Carlos says, some Geordies won't be happy losing to Ipswich because of the Bobby Robson connection. Yeah, but we won't lose to Ipswich. Simple as that. If we dominate, says Tangy, the game, have the ball, we don't have to worry about bookings for us. Exactly. It's all about keeping the ball. It's all about playing around West Ham. Keep out of the silly business, because one thing we have to be careful of tomorrow is West Ham and their frustration, because they are going to get very, very frustrated if things don't go their way. If things go the normal way it's been going for West Ham, the away fans getting on top of them, the home fans just, screaming for Newcastle United, things might get a bit iffy with West Ham and their late tackles and frustration. So we have to be very careful of that. And that is down to the referee to take control of that, which is why I'm worried about Pawson refereeing, because if West Ham decide that they've had enough, they're just going in for tackles that are really stupid because of frustration, and it does happen in football, that they do get frustrated, then we're in trouble. Well, the last half hour of the show, I'm not flying solo. Stato's with us. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm a bit wet. Sorry, guys.
Wow. Well, it's safe to say you look like a drowned rat, mate.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. The whole street's flooded. There's like 2 people's houses are destroyed. So I've just been helping unclog all the drains with people. It's like a huge I don't know. It's like a war effort. Everybody in the village is out with like shovels and things trying to unclog everybody's drains. It's mental.
Jesus, man. Well, you didn't have to come on, if your streets
Well,
underwater.
I've come back inside now, so I might as well instead of letting you sit on your own.
Well, it's fine. I've been having lots of interaction with the good viewers. By the way, guys, just to remind you that we have launched our second channel. TTR Xtra is what it's called. It's going to be a football channel, so we're going to have lots of commentaries from other games on that channel. The Arsenal one yesterday was kind of just I guess just a sort of trial to see what the viewing figures were like, which were unbelievable, by the way. Please go and subscribe if you haven't done already. If you want more football, etc., football shows for the Premier League, for English football in general, European football, that type of thing. Please go and subscribe. It is in the description, just at the top below the link for our sponsor, Mamaroo Records. If you just click the @TTR Extra, it'll take you to the channel. Please do subscribe. I think we're nearing 400 already. We need to get to 1,000 as quick as we can. So with your help, we'll get there sooner rather than later on that channel. We will be launching some videos on there probably next week, just talking about the Premier League results and stuff like that. And then lots of commentaries coming on there as well. Alex, we've just been talking just before you came on about obviously yellow cards and stuff for Newcastle. I think Longstaff, Hall, and obviously Joe Linton are all on 4 yellow cards, but we've been talking about having the ball more than West Ham tomorrow, but it's very important that if West Ham, it doesn't go their way again, they may well get frustrated, late tackles, etc. It's important for us to stay above that.
Yeah, in a way. I think we can't play like Bruno did last year. We can't play with the threat of a suspension. If something requires a strong tackle, do it. If it stops a really dangerous breakaway, do it. It is what it is. Everybody does it. We've got enough depth. If Longstaff's out, we've got Tonali. If Burns out, we've got Kelly. That's why we bought these extra players. That's the whole point in having a squad. I don't think it should affect how we play too much. I think with Bruno, it was slightly different because it was going to be a longer suspension because it would have been his 10th yellow card. And we really, really needed him. Bruno is an absolute key pivotal player. So yeah, I still think we should play our game where we under the lights of St. James's, play our way. If somebody gets booked, somebody gets booked. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I did say that earlier in the show. I said you can't think like suspensions. Oh no, players are going to get suspended throughout the season. That's just part of football. And it's up to Newcastle United to use the squad to replace those players when they do get suspended. It happens. It's football. J7, the Brazilian Geordie, says, Eyeball, how many more times is Konate going to foul opposition players? He pushed Watkins inside the box, but no penalty was given when Liverpool played Aston Villa. It's shocking. I mean, Alex, we saw some crazy decisions again with VAR over the weekend. I don't know whether you saw the earlier game with Liverpool. Just it's becoming a joke, and a lot of people stating on social media, you can just see who the Premier League actually want to win the league. If it's not going to be Manchester City, then it's going to be Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, it's with the VAR. I don't know as much about VAR, but it just feels like the general narrative is, red cartel, red cartel, red cartel, and it's just getting boring now. And I feel like certain journalists are just blind to the fact that if it keeps going this way, whether it's rules, well, I guess refereeing decisions are rules as well. All kinds of rules, whether it's financial rules. Or rules within the game. It's going to spoil it because it's just going to get to the point where it's the red clubs at the top. It is going all the way of sort of Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, and it's going to be boring. The rules are meant to be to protect clubs going out of business and destroying historical clubs, but clubs like West Ham, Newcastle, Everton, they've got the backing of the fans and the city. They're not going to go out of business as long as they're not completely. As long as you don't do a Leeds, then so there needs to be some semblance of rules and common sense used. But at the moment, it's more used as a status quo to protect people at the top than it is to And as Newcastle fans, a lot of neutral fans seem to think that we just want the shackles off so we can just go and spend unlimited money. I mean, yeah, that's funny, but
I don't think we do that though, Alex. I don't think we do that.
I agree. I don't think any of us really, really want that, because then it is boring, and then we would become everything that we've always hated. It would just be nice.
But I don't think PIF or anybody like that would go out and just blow money just for the sake of it. I think they'd be very.
Oh, I think they probably would have done if they could.
No, but they'd be very studious about who they bring in. They wouldn't just bring in Bert and Ernie.
I think they would have tried to just make us a super club and the biggest club in the world as quickly as possible. Whereas they're going to have to
have the right players to do that, though.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but PSG have tried it, and they are now up there. 15 years ago, if you talk about PSG in the same breath as Real Madrid and AC Milan, people laugh at you. But now they kind of are up there. That is the conversation they're in. So we want to be in that conversation as well. They've just made it considerably harder for us to do that.
Peter says shares on 4 yellow cards as well. So we do, but you can't go out thinking that. Just play the game. Get it.
Now, that is a bad one because.
Well, just let's not think about it. Graham says he can't find TTR Extra. Graham, it's in the description, mate, just underneath us. Just under the Mamaroo Records link, you'll see link for new chat, link for second channel at TTR Extra. Just click on that and it'll take you to the channel, mate. Stephen says, hi, Paul. Bought tickets for my wife's birthday for the West Ham game and not received. Warn people, do not buy off prime seats. We've still come to Newcastle hoping we can watch the game in the stack. You take a look. I mean, we could go on for a million years about these second string sites that give tickets away for ridiculous prices. You take your chance, really, unfortunately. Wacky says, fair play to Stato getting out to help neighbours. That shows what a top bloke he is. Absolutely. Villages come together when in times like this, and neighbours come together and help each other.
I mean, you've got to. There's no choice. There's absolutely no choice, because otherwise my street is seeing that I'm a young man in his 30s who's not gone out to help. So there is, of course, I want to help, but there's also the sense that you've kind of got to.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben says the only issue would be if we had Byrne and Hall suspended, we would have to use Alex Murphy. Target doesn't count. I mean, Matt Target. Andy says, in fairness, that first penalty for Southampton was outside the box, so it evened out over the game. Come on. It's
well, the only thing I'm happy about is Man United didn't win, so that's fantastic.
Wasn't it funny though? Because Rashford scored, and then suddenly social media blew up with, "Oh, there you go!" Rashford.
I didn't see.
Unbelievable, man! Rashford this, Rashford that, and the new manager's got them buzzing and all of this, and they can't beat Ipswich. So well done to Ipswich, by the way. But I think that is again hits home just how big this job is for the new manager, who actually said in his press conference he's going to need 2.5 years at least to put this right. So
he's not going to get that long.
No, of course he won't. But it's funny.
It is funny. I mean, you called it exactly right. I was talking about this in the car on the way back. Saw that Rashford scored in the second minute, and I went, "Oh, I bet the media proper hyped that up. I bet they loved that. Oh, Rashford back. Manchester United are back. Oh, the second minute goal.
You can imagine.
And then it all ended in tears.
Yeah, helicopters everywhere, and then poof, down to earth with a bump. Zaki says, West Ham, I think, I also shown me because they're changing formation every week. Try something new, which is all right, but it's not working for them, obviously.
But I do have some things to share if you would like to.
Absolutely. We need graphics, Alex. We need graphics.
Right.
There we go.
So this is the FOTMob suggested lineups for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So ours, obviously, we'll go onto our tactics board and do ours together. Yep. This is the West Ham one. And I really am a bit confused as to why Lopetegui's doing so badly, because I really like West Ham's squad. I talked them up in pre-season.
Alex, earlier on the show, before you joined us, mate, I was talking about the signings they made. And when we did our prediction show, we all had West Ham up there because we thought the players that they've signed have been superb and they would challenge the top six. And it hasn't worked out at all.
Not at all. Well, they signed Niklas Füllkrug, who we had to play against him in the Champions League twice. He played for Dortmund, and he was a monster. and he was a monster for Germany in the summer as well. And when they brought him in, so they had kind of him and Antonio as well to sort of dovetail. I thought that'd be fantastic for West Ham, and they've just not been available. It's not happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, signing wise, I love this team. I think it's so balanced. I think Todibo was a great signing. I think Kilman's a great signing. Mavropanos is a good player. Rodriguez was
not right behind the scenes, Alex. It's quite clear that something is not right.
Because I think the profile of player that they've recruited is decent. You know, Somerville, we reviewed him on a few transfer shows. We were linked with him heavily. Paqueta, fantastic. Bowen, fantastic. Fabianski, aging, but still extremely experienced. You've got a lot of options as well.
I don't think Paqueta's head is completely in the game, Alex. I think Paqueta may be, all the stuff going on behind the scenes with him's knocked him off his game a little bit.
I mean, I think this manager's just got to go. I think this is...
Oh, he's tragic. He's tragic.
I don't think I've watched them enough to be able to figure out. I mean, if there are any West Ham fans watching, I mean, if you clicked on, please comment in the chat, because is it that it's not gelled yet and it looks like it might do? He's got the workings of something, or is this just not working at all and the manager's got to go? Because I've not watched them enough to be able to make that decision. I'm not sure, but when I look at the squad and how they could play, I'm really confused as to why he hasn't got this working a little bit better. I mean, this guy is a recruit. They recruited in the summer, I believe, Rodriguez, because they were meant to use. Is it Alvarez, the guy that they looked at, that they brought in? So this is the guy they brought in from Betis, who he's got one. Is he on loan? I don't even know. They brought in a 30-year-old midfielder, and basically his job is just kick everyone and win the ball back. Basically. 3.38 tackles per game. So that's the guy that they brought in to presumably kick people about. Souček, of course, is he's a warrior, but he's getting on a bit.
He is, yeah. I think his time's almost up, I would assume, at West Ham. But I mean, I remember when they signed Todibo, right? And everybody was raving and thinking, that was another addition to the West Ham squad that we all thought, wow, these are going places this season. They're going to really build. Of course, a lot of fans wanted David Moyes out. Some of them want him back now, which is mental. And it's kind of, I was referring before you came on there just to, if this isn't a sort of sign as to, when people want Eddie Howe out, be careful what you wish for kind of thing. You just have to look at what's happened to West Ham at the moment. Of course, it could get better, but at the moment, it's certainly not. Yeah,
it's sacking somebody who's solid to try and take the next step. We've been in that position before. We sacked Chris Hughton to bring in Alan Pardew to try and push and do something. Like, every club goes through that stage who tries to make that progression. Everton tried it with Ancelotti, and people try and bring in flashier managers. It doesn't always work. I don't know. I've not liked Lopetegui's football for quite a long time.
Wacky is actually a West Ham fan, of course, Alex, and he says it's the manager's style and tactics that don't suit the way our players want to play. I don't think players have any faith in him. Plus, we are missing Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, but I don't think Ward-Prowse was being used when he was fit anyway, was he? I heard a lot of West Ham fans complaining about that he was kind of not playing very well and also just wasn't being used at all, and possibly missing. Yeah, I like West Ham's squad. You've got Ward-Prowse, who's a technician. You've got combative midfielders in Souček, Alvarez, Rodriguez. You've got technical players like Paqueta. You've got experienced fullbacks like Wan-Bissaka in the team. Max Kilman's a great centre-half. You've got good centre-halves, experienced goalkeepers. Somerville, a young, energetic winger. Bowen, an England international winger. Do
you think it was a strange move, Alex, to send Ward-Prowse out on loan?
I don't even know who his parent club is right now. Who is his parent club?
West Ham's parent club. He's loaned to Nottingham Forest.
Oh, he's at Forest. Of course
he's at Forest on loan.
Yeah, missing. Yeah, okay. I'm having an absolute nightmare there. You can tell I joined halfway through the show.
It's the water, man.
I don't. Maybe it's because of recruitment. They've sent, but they've got, obviously, somebody said in the chat they brought this Rodriguez in on a free and let Ward-Prowse go out on loan, which is I don't know. Something's weird. Something's really odd. I think they need to whatever they planned in the summer. You need to rip up those documents, get a new planner out, and try again, because it's a good squad. I think it's a really good squad. I think West Ham, maybe after Christmas they'll get a new manager in, and I think they're going to be really good. I tell you what, they could do what Palace did last year when they got Glasner in. I think second half of the season, if they can have a different manager, get out of their rut that they're in, get Fulkrug back, and play a different way, I think they've got the potential to be a nasty team and that they can beat a lot of people. But right now, this is probably a good time to play them because they're just in the dumps.
Yeah,
but we've still got to do the job,
guys.
Oh, we lost the screen share there.
Yeah, just bear with us a second. I'm fiddling on here because some people can't find the link. There is the description there on the screen, right, guys? And there you see where I've highlighted there that you just click on that at TTR Extra, and that will take you to the new screen. If it's not on your description, because I've literally put it on just before we went live, it is on yesterday's match day live as well. So if you click on that description, it is in exactly the same place, just underneath the sponsors. You can just click on that, TTR Extra, and there, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. You will see the channel.
No, apparently it doesn't work because it's not hyperlinked.
It's not hyperlinked. Well, it should be. Hang on a minute. Let's just see what's going on here. It should be hyperlinked. Yes, just.
Do you want to stop sharing, and I will present our tactics board?
Absolutely. There you go, mate.
You do that.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know why the sides of the tactics board has gone white. I don't quite know why that's happened, but it's no idea. Is this the team?
Right, just to let you know, guys, that is now hyperlinked. You'll be able to click on it now, and it will take you through to the channel. So thank you. It is hyperlinked now, so sorry about that, but it is there. Thank you for everybody who's going across to subscribe. I'm not sure, Alex. I was talking about this earlier on, and I don't know. Tonali, for me, this kind of game where we're going to have a lot of the ball, should he be playing instead of Longstaff tomorrow?
Possibly. I mean, there's going to be, I'm hoping there's going to be quite a lot of space, purely because of just these players. I think these two aren't overly athletic and fast, and these front three kind of are. So I'm hoping that first kind of line, it depends how they press, because I've seen games where they're quite aggressive and some games where they're not, and I don't know. I think they've tried everything at the moment. So there should, hopefully, if we can beat that first line of press, there should be like a load of space, which you'd imagine based on our lineup, it might be sort of Joe Linton that gets a bit of luck in between the lines, maybe, or Willock, and then can just drive. But
I mean, is putting Tonali in there going to make us too attacking, if you like? But I mean, I think it's a perfect game for Tonali. I genuinely do. I'd rather see Tonali in than Longstaff tomorrow. And don't get me wrong, Longstaff has played okay. But I just think when you're going to have a game where you're expected to have more of the ball, surely you want your better technical players on the pitch. This is
another situation where we all kind of said, right, he's gone for Longstaff because Ryan Yates is an absolute, banana bread. And I think this is going to be another one of those with Souček and Rodriguez in midfield. They're going to have midfielders there that just try and tackle all day long and just be brutes. So maybe Longstaff might suit it. That being said, I think Tonali plays really well. I think that aspect of Tonali's game is really good. Yeah. So when people say he plays Longstaff over Tonali because of physicality reasons, I don't think there's anything wrong with Tonali's physicality at all. Maybe he loses the ball sometimes in sort of deeper channels when he shouldn't defensively, and Longstaff kind of doesn't, but
well, he kind of does as well. I know what you mean, though. I know exactly what you mean. Nick Thornton, thank you for your super chat. He says tomorrow is the perfect game to start Tonali. And Ian Black, thank you for signing up to Members Club, mate. Thank you for your ongoing support. That's very kind. John Cook says, yes, Tonali start, but Eddie will stick with Sean. James says, I think we have Longstaff defensive midfield if Bourne makes a move. would you not swap Willock and Joe Linton around there, Alex, and put Joe Linton left? Because I think that's where Joe's been playing, hasn't he? So,
well,
I mean, they do sort of.
Even though Sky Sports puts that on the screen, look, when we're out of possession, it looks. What am I doing here? I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. It tends to go into this out of possession structure. It tends to be a bit more like that. Yeah, that's what it turns into. So we do. There's been if you pause, anybody who's got it on live like tomorrow, have a little play with the buttons when we're off like out of possession structure. Well, not out of possession. It's when we're taking things like goal kicks and stuff. That's what we look like. So it's not.
Billy is screaming at the camera now. He's screaming at the screen. When you mentioned have a play with your buttons, you just know Billy Trey he'd be itching to say something.
That's what it does look like.
Yeah,
and it's been working really well because it's meaning that Isak's not as isolated. And if anybody gets a sniff of the ball, they can just spring. And Gordon can join. Joe Linton joins, and it's been working really, really nicely. And so much so that Willock and Joe Linton are both quite comfortable in rotating those positions. And so is Isak kind of drifting or Willock going. It's really fluid and it's working really well. So it's. And then obviously if things aren't working, we can bring a sub on, swap Gordon to one side, bring Barnes on. We've got loads of options offensively. It's really good. Yeah. It is just a question of how do you fit Tonali in? Well, yeah, I guess Tonali and Barnes are the two people to come on after the hour, aren't they? So, but it's going to be this.
Yeah. I think the only change is Kelly. I said that at the start. However, I'd love Tonali to start tomorrow. I think it's a perfect game for him. But Sean's done enough. Let's be honest, to stay in the side. He hasn't done anything to be dropped. So we'll have to wait and see what Eddie does. Ball Jordy says, evening TTR, great community spirit, Stato. Great commentary yesterday, and congrats on the viewing figures on X. Has it had any positives on your YouTube channel? I'm subscribed to Xtra. It hasn't really had a fiber bounce on this channel. But what we're hoping is, I mean, look, there was 10,000 people watching yesterday. The majority, yes, there was over 8,000 people, 9,000 people watching on X. It was fantastic viewing figures, but I suspect that was Arsenal fans, etc., who've just sort of found the game on X and listened to the commentary. What we're hoping is that, and that's why we streamed to X as well, is because it will hopefully bring people who are on YouTube will remember that and come across to one of our two channels. Now, obviously, TTR Xtra is going to be a football channel. It's not a Newcastle United channel. It's going to be a specific football channel. So that's where we're hoping to bring in other fans from other clubs onto that channel as well, who enjoy, listening to commentaries from the Premier League or La Liga or wherever it may be. We're looking forward to doing that. And obviously different shows as well that aren't just Newcastle United based. They're going to be Premier League, Football League, all sorts of stuff on there. So we're really looking forward to getting it kicked off.
This channel's not going to be diluted. I think if anybody's worried about that, no, this channel is NUFC.
No, this is our baby. This one, obviously,
that's the whole point in making the other one, so that we can watch irrelevant games,
more football, basically.
Yeah,
simple as that. Peter Garthwaite, thank you for your super chat. He says, "Did you see Isak's trickery for Sweden? Why is no one asking Eddie why he doesn't play like that for us?"
Well, you could ask the same question about loads of the internationals, about why don't we use Tonali in the same way as he's used for Italy and Isak for Sweden.
Yeah. You know. It's just different managers play different ways. And obviously, listen, we know Isak is going to be, he's getting better and better as the season's gone on domestically. So I'm not worried about Isak anymore. I think he'll be... I think he'll bag a couple of goals tomorrow. Nathan says, are you going to be taking more staff on at the Toon Review to help with the demand both channels will demand? Well, we'll see how the channel goes. Like I say, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, etc., quickly on the second channel, and then we'll move on from there. But we will let you know, definitely, if we need more moderators, etc. Tom says, will the deadline day show be on here or Extra? It'll be on here.
It'll be on here.
Yeah, it will be on here because we're really thinking Newcastle United in the deadline. And, of course, we do our charity stream on this channel. So, yeah, it's...
Who are we putting on the bench, Paul?
Hang on a second. I try to hit the bell to get notifications when the stream starts. TTR notifications are disabled due to content for kids. Not sure. I'll have a look at that. Thank you for letting us know. But normally the notifications do work for everybody, so never mind. Who am I having on the bench? There is a question. I mean,
we need
that's
a
only 6
goalkeeper or two.
We need 9, don't we? Is it 9 on the bench?
Oh, I can never remember. It changes by competition, which always just.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
can
9
never
for the
remember.
Premier League.
So Oddie.
Well, you say Oddie, but it's
now.
been Dubravka the last couple of games, Alex.
I'm not putting Dubravka on my bench. He needs,
I know. Yeah, I know you refuse to do that out of sheer principle.
Like, I don't want to badmouth. I've obviously changed my tune a lot with being, I say nasty, not nasty, but being overly mean about players because they're human beings.
Well, my target's going to be there as well,
Dubravka,
Alex.
Dubravka should have gone. He's poor. He's a poor goalkeeper now.
Yep. He may put 2 on the bench again. I mean, I don't see.
How many's that?
Unless, Alex, Trippier or Wilson is back, which I think Trippier might be on the bench.
He's more likely to just put Ruddy on the bench. Have I got Trippier? Is Trippier up here somewhere? Yeah, Kieran Trippier's there. Could make a match day squad. And Callum Wilson. Let's just dust off the cobwebs off of his character thing there.
Listen, I just can't help thinking the way Eddie's face reacted to that question. I think Trippier's got more of a chance of being on the bench tomorrow than Wilson. I just generally would. I don't think it's going to be Callum Wilson. And then next Friday he'll stay
in the match day squad just for fun. But Trippier, I think Trippier will be on the bench. I think it's too early for Wilson to be on any match.
I don't see the point of putting Wilson there just to put him in the match day squad, though, because surely your substitutes
to scare West Ham, possibly mind games.
Well, he is a West Ham slayer, of course. He loves scoring a goal against West Ham. I don't know. It'll be I'll be very surprised if Wilson is on the bench. Put it that way. I think Trippier's got more of a chance.
Do what Arteta does and make Callum Wilson come in with his wash bag just to scare Lopetegui. He's like, oh my God, he's going to play?
Well, he could do that. I mean, Eddie likes his little bit of gamesmanship, doesn't he? So he could technically do that. I don't know. But I think that's, it's either going to be, it's either or, really. I can't see them both being on there. I think it's going to be Trippier.
Do you know what I want to see tomorrow? I want to see a direct free kick goal scored. I want to see Lewis Hall score from a free kick. It's been such a long time.
When was the last time we scored from a free kick, Alex? From a direct free kick?
A long time ago. A long time. And I feel like we've got the players for it. It was probably... Did Fabian...
Well, if Fabian Schär gets the hell out the way and lets the more technical Lewis Hall take a free kick, we've got more of a chance.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if we get a free kick in this kind of area,
yeah, perfect for a left footer.
Fabian Schär needs to walk away and let Lewis Hall hit that. Honestly, I'm gonna be so annoyed if
we had one in that position a couple of games ago and Schär took it and totally fluffed it.
Yeah, he's allowed his one shot per game in anger. We allow him that, but
no, you're still there, Alex. You just disappeared for a second there.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, but we allow Fabian Schär his one shot in anger per game, and he's allowed that. But let the more technical player take the free kicks. Yeah, he's a left footer as well. I'd have to go and have a look at the data, but I'm sure left footers are probably more dangerous than right footers
from that angle.
Just based on training against left footers, and it's not as common you would receive a shot from.
Or if Tonali's in the side, Tonali take one. You know what I mean? It'd just be nice to see a bit of a difference. But hey ho. Right, it is prediction time before we end the show. So get your predictions in the chat, guys. Alex, what are we going for tomorrow?
Well, I was listening to some of the West Ham previews in the gym, and they are absolutely terrified of us tomorrow. They are all of them. That I think I listened to 3 different ones. As well.
Yeah,
petrified. Well, we've got it in us to have a bad game, but at home, under the lights, we've had a break. I'm going to say we're going to score at least 3 goals. I'm going to go with 3. And I'm going to say, I think they might get 1, I don't think we'll get a clean sheet. So I'm going to go with 3-1. I'm going to go with an Isak goal. I'm going to go with the Joe Willock goal because I think he's been gearing up to score. I think he's raring to go, really. Isak, Willock, and I'm going to go with what I want to see. I want to see Lewis Hall score from a free kick, so I'm going to say Lewis Hall as well.
There is a lot of confidence in the chat, Alex, to say the least. Nathan's gone 5-2. Gav the Amateur Gamer says 3-1. Ultimate Outlaw 4-0. Mike says 2-0. Julie J's just saying 1-0, but reverse psychology with that. 4-1 says Paul Thompson. Tangy's going 6-1. Ron Peacock 4-0. Jackie 3-0. Latoon. LG 2-0. Ben 6-1. Further down a little bit, Charlie says Stu says 3-1. I say 3-2. Want a close, exciting game? No, we want to hammer them. We want to absolutely hammer them. Shane Smith says 3-0. Lots and lots of big score lines coming in. I'm going 4-0, Alex. I really do think, we've been saying for ages now, we're due to give somebody a hammer, and I think it generally could be tomorrow night, and I hope it is.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to the West Ham fans.
No,
however,
absolutely
based on how you've been playing, the fact that we've been ramping up and up and up performances recently, like even the ones that we were doing, like the Brighton game, we were still getting a lot of shots, creating a lot of chances. Now it's kind of clicked a bit more. Pressing's back. We've been ramping up to this kind of performance, and anything but a convincing win tomorrow will be a huge disappointment, I think, for Eddie Howe and the entire squad and coaching setup, all of them, because I think they know this is a game where they can go out and punish and get some goal difference and get 3 points. And continue the climb up the table. I think anything but a convincing win tomorrow is a disappointment.
Apparently, a lot of the West Ham fans are actually wanting to lose the game to get rid of the manager. I mean, it's mental. Some people ask us if I'm going to the game tomorrow. No, I'm not. I'm doing the commentary again. I can't. I'm not leaving Susan when she's in the condition that she's in. I refuse to. She will always come first in anything. So but I still get to watch the game and do the commentary from the house, so it's a win-win for me. But I no way. Family comes first. But it will still be a very, very good game tomorrow. I'm convinced of it, and some very good commentary again from me and Billy. I mean, I know it's on TV, but knock the commentary off and listen to me and Billy, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the game in that way if you're not at St James's Park tomorrow night. But we will be live from 7:30, half an hour's build up to the game, of course, and then we will have full commentary of the game, kick by kick, or play by play, as they like to say. But that is it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you for the support in the first half an hour of the show when I was literally flying solo. Haven't done that for a long time, live anyway, but it was like the old days of the Toon Review. But thank you to Alex for jumping on, soaking wet, looking like a drowned rat. He seems to have dried off a bit anyway now. But thank you to him. Thank you for your super chats and memberships. And of course, mods, thank you for a brilliant job again. And of course, a huge shout out to our sponsors, Mamaroo Records. If you're ever in Whitley Bay, pop in to see Steve right in the center of Whitley Bay. I mentioned you're a Toon Review subscriber. If you like your vinyl, your music merch, things like that, please do give a shout out to Steve, and he will take care of you. If you can't get there, they do have a website that is pinned at the top of the description. Go and have a look, and again, Steve will get everything sent to you. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. If there's a new show to bring you, I will bring you it, but if not, we will see you tomorrow night at 7:30. Have a great Sunday evening, folks, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Come back and check out the green.